We have Chase Garland. Chase leads product at Brale. He's a two-time founder, and he believes that stablecoins are for everyone.
All right. Hey, everyone. So I'm going to give a quick overview of the API, and then I'll jump into the live demo. And as we get into this, please drop thoughts or questions into the chat, and someone will get back to you. So we sat down with a number of businesses earlier this year with the goal of designing a stablecoin API focused on business payments. And so we had heard a bunch of common challenges, whether it was spreads or basis points that were breaking certain business flows. We also often heard that some APIs were strong in some areas, but others were strong in others. And so we synthesized this feedback, and this is what came out. And so what we're going to show today is a unified API. It supports 0 basis points, on-ramps, off-ramps, and swaps, with support for your own stablecoins alongside USDC and Paxos assets. And this all works on 15 blockchains with support for private transactions on Canton. So since we launched this in beta, our transaction volume has grown around 700%, and we're super excited by the response so far. And so before jumping in, I just want to shout out some of the companies that we worked closely with. So absolute shout out to Modern Treasury, CoinFlow, Rain, StableC, Meld, Easy, and others. We really worked closely together, and I don't think this product would have turned out, the way that it has so far without that early feedback. So thank you. Just highlighting before we jump in live, just a few of the use cases that we're seeing, just to give some context. So B2B payouts, these are supplier payouts. This is what the demo is going to be focused on here. And a second, stablecoin accounts, right? So as fintechs, increasingly move traditional FBO accounts over to stablecoin accounts for faster onboarding, better economics. Merchant acceptance, so working with folks like CoinFlow, we're really starting to see merchants accept stablecoins in their own branded stables and build loyalty programs on top of it, which I'm really excited to see. And then stablecoin card programs. Just like another segment that's growing really quickly in the market. And, we're able to participate here as a low-cost way to fund these programs. So last thing before I jump in, I just want to introduce the key concept of the API, which is the transfer. So we've designed a single flexible endpoint here that's a transfer that can accommodate off-chain and on-chain money movement. And so if we think about on-ramps, off-ramps, swaps, or even combining these together, the transfer can handle this in one instruction. And so this works through two main concepts. The first is the value type. So this is the currency. So off-chain, this is dollars, or this might be your own stablecoin or USDC. And then the transfer type, this is the payment rail. So off-chain, this would be, Wire, ACH, RTP. On-chain, this is networks like Solana or Base, Stellar, Canton. And so this really gives developers a flexible endpoint where they can essentially update these labels, mix and match, and accomplish, all different kinds of money movement with Braille handling complexity under the hood. All right, so let's actually jump into the live demo here. So we're going to focus on a stablecoin payout. So think like US originated business payout to a supplier abroad. So I'm just going to show these in Postman. All of these are though completely live and on mainnet. So we're going to on-ramp into our own stablecoin, and then we're going to do a payout. So in this case, this is basically the transfer request I was just kind of overviewing. We're going to on-ramp from USD via Wire. We're using Wire here because it's still the predominant, method for business payments. And we're going to mint our own stablecoin, DZUSD, on Solana. DZUSD is day $0. It's something we issued in a previous day zero. Awesome. So I'm going to kick that off. And so we get this transaction back. So in a production flow, we'd wait to receive the wire deposit. For the sake of this demo, we're just going to move through and use a pre-funded balance. So I can go and grab that transfer that we just kicked off, and we can see this is already in processing. And so why our own stablecoin? So we're increasingly seeing fintechs, marketplaces, other businesses hold balances in their own stablecoin to earn more treasury revenue and for control. And so I'll just jump into the dashboard here as well for another way to look at this, and we can see that this Solana mint here is in progress, and we minted this directly to our custodial wallet that's already present. So that just completed there, and we can also see the balance in our account. So just to kind of show this from an API perspective, though, we'd obviously be pulling this transfer. We can see that this is complete. And so we're holding now this DZUSD on Solana in our wallet. We've essentially on-ramped for 0 basis points. So now we're actually going to do the payout. And so we're going to do the payout out of that DZUSD balance. And so here you can start to see, I think, how kind of flexible this resource is. So we're going to do the payout out of the DZUSD. but we're going to do it in USDC. So obviously commonly today, right, maybe suppliers abroad, probably mostly looking for USDC or USDT. We're going to do it on Solana, and we just need to specify the address ID of where this wants to go to. So I'll just, we already have this linked in the account, so I'll just grab that and we'll kick this off. Awesome. So that opened. And so already here, you can kind of see how we can mix and match here, because we're really doing a stablecoin swap and like a payout in one instruction. And I think this starts to give kind of a sense of like how this can be used to simplify the developer experience around stablecoins. So I'll jump in and look at this in the dashboard as well. So really we're doing a burn of DZUSD on Solana, and then we're going to release the USDC as soon as that completes. And of course, right, like if we wanted to do this on another chain like Base or Stellar or something, it would just be as simple as updating this label. Awesome. So I'll give that a few more seconds. There we go. So that completed. So we've burned now the DZUSD, and now we're immediately going to release the USDC. And so I'll just show like the dashboard view of that. So I think this is really powerful, because essentially we can hold this treasury balance that's continually earning treasury revenue, and we can pay out in it at any time in any stable coin that our last mile provider looks for, whether that's USDC, USDT, Paxos assets or others. And so I'll just give this a few more seconds for this to complete. From an API perspective, of course, like we'd continually be pulling this transfer as well. So let me just show the same version there. Awesome. And so we can see that's now complete. So we've done essentially, we've on-ramped for 0 basis points and sent a payout, right, with no other fees other than a bank fee and a gas fee. So that's your classic like cross-border payment kind of stablecoin sandwich. Now we're going to extend this, and we're going to do a private payout. And so think of a payroll use case where we're paying maybe an employee or contractor abroad. We're really excited to support private payments, and we do that through Canton Network. So Canton Network, public permission chain that supports private transactions. And so we already have a DZUSD balance on Canton. And again, you can kind of see here, I'm basically just flipping some labels here, and everything is handled really under the hood. So we're actually going to do this payout this time on Canton because we want the end-to-end privacy. I just need to grab the addresses in our account. Cool. So this is our custodial wallet. Again, this is created automatically for us, so you don't have to worry about running infrastructure or anything like that. And then I'll just grab the recipient wallet. Cool. So here's a settlement wallet we already linked. So we're just going to use that one. And I'll kick this off. Awesome. So if I go back to the dashboard, this is another way to visualize this. So we've got this payout going on Canton, and actually just completed there. So like in 10 seconds there, we have a private transaction. This looks crazy simple, like almost laughably simple, but this is crazy complicated under the hood. The team's done a lot of work to make this possible. So that's really the live demo. Those are the payout use cases we wanted to show. In terms of where we are going next, we're continuing to add more payment methods. So support for ACH debits, third-party payments, and more chains. So we'll be on probably 20 plus chains by the end of the quarter, continuing to go on unique chains with high TPS and other features. If you want to check out the API, you can sign up through the website. Everything's public here. Check out the API docs to get API keys. Everything's free. We really appreciate the early feedback. Thank you.